Hello and welcome to Alasdair Aquatics, guys. I hope you're doing well. Here in the UK, we're now in about the middle of February and the weather's starting to perk up a little bit, which is great. It's really making me want to get out of the house, really giving me some inspiration to get out of the house, get into nature. And I decided to set up a new aquascape. And the topic for today's video is setting up an aquascape on a budget. Okay, so in this video, I will be setting up this 60 litre tank behind me. And I'm going to be talking about how to set up an aquascape on a budget because as I'm sure a lot of you out there, like myself, maybe want a really high-end, lovely looking aquascape, but you know, we still have to think about money. We can't go spending loads of money on an aquascape. So this video is going to be about setting up an aquascape with a budget in mind, but hopefully we're going to come out with something that still looks absolutely fantastic. I do apologise if you hear any sort of crunching noises or any other small sort of bangs. We have a builder downstairs and my tortoises are making a bit of noise. They're just having their lunch today, so there might be some crunching and other noises going on in there, but hopefully it doesn't distract from the video too much. So I really do hope you enjoy this video. Okay, there we go. One of the tortoises having a little bit of a munch of some cuttlebone. Anyway, sorry, back to the video. So I really do hope you enjoy this one. If you do enjoy it, please remember to hit that like button. I'm not sure if it's going to be up there or down there yet, but please remember to hit that like button and hit that subscribe button. Okay, so you get notified about more of my videos that come out every week. Sometimes every other week, like at the moment. But I'm trying to put out as much content out as the moment as possible. And I'm really excited for this video, so let's get into it. So let's start off with the most the main thing you're going to need when setting up an aquascape: the tank. Okay, so I was really lucky. I had a look online and someone was selling this juwel 60 litre aquarium with a hood. Had a built-in filter. I'm sure those of you that have juwel tanks know that in the back corner there's a sort of black box which is siliconed in place. So it came with that filter, it came with a heater, the hood and a light. Okay, so I think a really good deal for £30, and it did come with some gravel in the bottom, which I decided I didn't want to use, so I've thrown the gravel away. But I then decided to make some changes to this tank. So a lot of the high-end aquariums out there are rimless, so they're not going to have a hood, they're going to just have a light placed on top, and I think it really does look good when you do that. And it's quite an easy thing to do, is just take off the hood from your aquarium and buy a light. Okay, luckily I had this light lying around from when I had another 60 litre tank set up in my room before. And what I then proceeded to do was give the tank a really good clean, and using a knife I cut through the silicone and removed that black box which held the filter and the heater, just because it really wasn't what I wanted for my aquascape. I'm not usually a big fan of sort of internal filters that take up a lot of space inside the tank. So what I went with, rather than spend sort of £50–60, maybe even more, on a big canister external filter, I decided to go with a decently powered hang on the back filter. Okay, and this only cost me, I think it was somewhere around £14–15, and I will leave their names in the description for all of the light and filter and equipment I'm using in this setup. But this is by All Pond Solutions, this filter. So I'm yet to actually use it, but throughout this video I will be setting up the tank and seeing how it goes. But from the reviews, it's a good filter, and you know, has a good turnover rate. I think it's 600 litres an hour, so you know, we're getting about 10 times the tank volume turned around in an hour, which that's really great. Nice powerful filter. And the thing I like about the hang on the back filters is they don't take up much space on the inside of your tank. The only thing that's going to distract slightly from my aquascape is the black tube coming into view, but from what I've got planned in my head, I mean, I'm not sure how it's going to work out yet, is I'm going to be using some hardscape, okay, some big rocks, and hopefully they'll hide the majority of that tubing behind me. So I also have a light, which I've mentioned before. When setting up an aquascape, unfortunately this is one of the things that if you want a lot of plants, especially high light demanding plants, you're really not going to want to skimp out on the light. okay, because you're going to want to have the right type of LEDs that are giving off the right color spectrum to really promote good, strong, healthy plant growth. So this is a fluval aquasky, and I have it set to white LEDs and red LEDs. Okay, so I found through trial and error that this really does promote a really good, strong plant growth in my aquarium. Another thing to mention, if you can pick up one of these lights second hand, that's another way that you can maybe cut costs, because to buy these new, they can be quite expensive, but in my experience they really are worth it in the long run. They're great for plants, fantastic for plant growth, and they do give the aquarium a really good look, and the build quality is usually really good. I know there's a lot of cheaper options online, and I mean, maybe if you've tried them out and they work, that's all good. You know, just so long as you know, your plants are really looking healthy and they're growing, then that's all good. But personally, I like to stick to sort of big name brand when it comes to lights. That's just my own personal preference. And for the lid, okay, at the moment there's no lid on this tank. I do have a lid, it's just hidden behind here. Okay, just to stop condensation happening too much, you know, the tank level water dropping, I'm going to add a lid. I mean, it doesn't cover most of the tank. This is just, I think, a sheet of perspex which I've cut into shape, and online I've bought some small clips that just sit on the rim of the aquarium and hold the lid in place. This just means that I don't have to top up the aquarium so much, and it reduces the likelihood of any fish jumping out. Okay, but for the purpose of the video, I'm probably going to leave the lid off because it does look a lot better with the lid off. And for this aquascape, I'm going to be putting some large bits of Siriu stone into the tank, or mini landscape stone, I think it's also called here in the UK. And holding some of these rocks that I've picked out, I went to a local fish shop and I had a good look through a huge sort of tub of mini landscape rock, and I picked, I think, 4 or 5 really nice pieces, one of them being really big. Turns out they weighed a lot. I didn't realise until I walked from the checkout to my car how heavy these rocks actually were. So I was thinking in my head, I'm a bit worried about the sort of pressure. I didn't want any single points of the rock coming into pressure with the glass. I wanted that weight to be uniformly distributed. So I got a bit of a tip that I've read from my time keeping reef tanks and looking on reef forums, is a lot of times reef tanks have big heavy rocks, as do cichlid tanks, and what people do is they normally put egg crate or light diffuser, which is just some plastic with sort of square cutouts, and what that means is when I put the rock on there, it's going to hopefully evenly distribute the weight along that bottom panel of glass, and we're going to have no pressure points. So fingers crossed nothing happens to the bottom of the glass, we don't end up with a leak or anything like that, because I really want to avoid that. Okay, so here's a better view of that egg crate I was talking about. So I've just lined the bottom with the sort of plastic egg crate or light diffuser, just to make sure the weight is evenly distributed and the rocks don't sort of cause any pressure points on the bottom panel of glass. And I forgot to mention, but I've also got some nice white, hopefully natural looking gravel that should look really good. Okay, so I've got the Siriu stone in place. Okay, so my hardscape's pretty much done. I'm really liking how it looks. It's going to be taking up most of the floor space of the tank. I'm really liking the look of this rock. I think it's going to look really cool. And as for plants, the only plants I'm going to be using in this tank is some moss. I have 2 tubs of the Tropica 1-2 grow range, and this is spiky moss. And then I've got 4 Java ferns. Again, these plants are by Tropica, so they're grown immersed, they're grown out of water, which means you don't get any nuisance algae or pest snails. And I've just spent the last 20 minutes rinsing out this fine gravel. I did buy 2 bags, but I think 1 should do it because most of the floor space is going to be taken up by these really nice rocks. Okay, so a lot of character to these rocks, a lot of features, a lot of crevices, And yeah, I think this scape's going to look really good. So what I'll do now is I'll get the plants prepared, and then I will get a time lapse going of me aquascaping this tank. Okay, so the plants are all ready to go. I've removed the stone wool, removed the gel from the moss, given them a light misting. Now all that's left to do is to glue everything to the rocks and add the substrate. So what I'll do now is I'll set up a time lapse, and you guys can follow along. Okay, fingers crossed it all works out. Okay, so we got the tank all planted and scaped. All that's left to do now is to fill it up. But I'm really liking how this scape looks. Okay, so here's the tank, and don't know about you guys, but I am absolutely loving this scape. So I'm really glad I tried out something different to usual. So no plants planted in the substrate again. We've just got some flame moss, it's all wedged in some cracks in the rocks, and some Java fern glued onto the rocks as well. Wow, so yeah, I'm really liking this scape. I'll give the tank a bit of time to clear up, and then what I'll do is I'll just give you guys some nice footage of the tank once it's all cleared, and give you a close-up of some areas of the scape. Okay guys, so we come to the end of the video. I really do hope you've enjoyed this one. It's just been a really nice video to make. You know, really good creative day I've had putting this aquascape together, and I'm really enjoying how it looks. I love the amount of cereal stone I've placed in here, and having minimal plants is such a nice change. So what I'm looking to do is try some fish out in here that maybe I haven't tried before. Cichlids, they're definitely something I haven't tried before, but in a 60 litre, you know, it's not really going to be big enough for a cichlid tank. But what I have been thinking about is the dwarf cichlids, something like having a single Bolivian ram in this tank and maybe a school of tetras, and my initial thought is maybe a school of ember tetras. I think that would look really nice.
But let me know in the comments down below. I mean, what do you think? What should I keep in this tank? Have you got any ideas? I mean, I'm looking for something a bit different to put in this tank, something that's not your sort of typical bread and butter tropical fish. But yeah, any ideas you have, please let me know. So I hope you've enjoyed this one. I've had a great day putting it together. I'm really happy with this tank, and I'll keep you guys updated when I add new fish in once it's cycled. So if you have enjoyed this one, please remember to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button for more notifications about my new videos. And I am on Instagram at Alasdair_Aquatics, so be sure to follow me there as well. Okay guys, so until next time, it's bye for now. Have a good one.